Hey everyone, welcome back to my latest War and Order video. Today we'll be going over the free-to-play PvP event called Fight for Supremacy. So this is 100% free-to-play event. You literally lose 0 troops and you have 0 wounded troops, so you can go attack as many people as you want, and again, people can hit you all you want as well. You can test out your march strength, all that stuff. Again, this is getting ready for some of the more pay-to-play events where you actually do lose troops. This kind of teaches you the mechanics and all that, but since this is 100% free-to-play account or free-to-play event, you can basically do whatever you want during it. You don't have to worry about losing troops or anything like that. If you mess up, you mess up. It's okay. And again, there's a bunch of really good rewards from it as well. I love this event. Again, you're looking for these mini warfare marks. They're all over the map. There is pretty much unlimited, so it doesn't matter if you lose. You can go find another, or you can find one that someone else is on and hit them just for fun. No one's getting mad at you because, again, you just go find another one, and there's only a 15-second march time to any node on the whole map, so you both can get there at the same time. You can hit someone. If you fail, you go find another one. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just testing it out. So a couple of these, I'm just kind of finding people that are on nodes and just trying to hit them. Again, you can also reinforce them with your guildmates and see how much damage you would take if that was happening. And I think this is one of those situations where I found a big guild and they started reinforcing that node, so I got completely destroyed on this one. You can see their troops are coming in and actually joining the march every single time they actually show up. So you can join a battle mid-battle and your troops will actually just join in their actual march. So you have to be a little bit careful when actually attacking someone and all that. But again, like this, it shows deads and losses here, but those are just showing you what would happen if you actually did hit them outside this event. That's what would happen. Those would be your losses and deads. But in this situation, obviously in this event, there are literally no reds, there are no wounded, so you can basically hold one of these nodes indefinitely. Again, these are the mini nodes. I will show you the big node battle, which is basically like a Wonder Wars Warlords mobile. There's a bunch of just wonders in the middle where you're trying to take them, and again, they give you stats as well, so it's not just rewards you're getting, you're also getting stats as well for those ones. Those are the big ones. I'll show you those later on in the video. Right now we're just going to show you the mini nodes, because again, you can also do 1v1, so if you kind of want to know how you would do against another player in the kingdom, you could always message them like, hey, go to this node, let's both go there and see how our armies would fare against each other. Then you can actually see how a certain setup will work or your stats will work and all that. So it's really good for just limit testing and all that stuff. A lot of these people I am beating because, again, my castle is quite strong in this game. This guy only had 35,000, so that was pretty easy. But I did ask some people in Global to see if they wanted the 1v1, or someone else was asking if they wanted a 1v1. So I was like, sure, I'll go to your node and find out how I do against you. So I did a couple of those. One was against a guy who actually had quite good stats for how big he was, and then the other guy was about the same might as me, so we were testing out, just seeing how it would work. Again, I do have a bigger march cap than these guys, so I do beat them, but if we had similar march caps, I might actually lose against some of these guys just because they've been working on their stats a little bit more. So I found out, obviously, and like in most games, stats mean a lot, so I am going to be starting to work on my stats, but obviously when you're first starting out, you're trying to get your castle as big as possible, try to get as high tier troops, because again, that's what matters pretty much the most here. But once everyone has the same size castle, obviously the stats will start coming into play a lot more. But since I am bigger, I can send a bigger march cap, I have higher tier troops, I do beat them quite easily. I just was surprised how well he actually did against me, because he actually did injure, what was it, like 12k of my troops or something like that, or whatever it was. Yeah, something like that, and I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to just mow over him, but his army actually stayed there a lot longer than I thought it was going to, so yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working on now. Again, there's stuff like artifacts and gear and all that you can work on, so I've started working on those a little bit more, plus I'm still trying to get my castle up a little bit higher, because again, the troops, the troop tier and the amount of troops you can send in a march do matter the most currently, just because again, if you're sending 30% more troops with higher tier troops, it really doesn't matter what their stats are. If they have a little bit better stats, they're still going to get completely destroyed, and you can kind of see this here, even though his stats might be better than mine. And again, I tried it with another person. Again, he's around the same might as me. I think he was around 1.1 million might at the time or something like that, but he's sending more of a blast kind of type. So in this situation, he only has infantry and pretty much mages for his attack, and the other squads he's actually only putting one, which does take away basically one of my my attacks. So again, it's kind of like in Lord's Mobile where you send fodder. That's kind of what he's doing, sending fodder marches with just infantry and mages behind that, and he actually does have better stats than me as well. So this battle is much closer than any of the other battles I actually did. Unfortunately, he had about 20k less troops than I did, so again, my mass amount of troops did win out in the end, even if my my squads weren't set up as well as maybe his was. It doesn't matter, because again, that's kind of what matters most is at this point is how many troops you actually have, and obviously the tier of troops. So if you had higher tier troops, that might actually win him the battle too. So you can see I had about, what is it, like, actually I didn't have 20k more, I had like 15k more, but still, still, he had way better stats than I did. I believe I have higher tier troops than he does. Yeah, I've got higher tier troops, that also helped, but his stats were completely outclassing me. I didn't really have war talents on, so that's one of the reasons, and the other reason that I think actually it was mostly it was war talents, because I was in building talents and war talents, kind of mixed talents, because again, it's starting of the game, only been playing the game a couple weeks, so still trying to build the castle and all that stuff. So that's kind of what's going on there. And then we'll move on to the main Wonder Wars. So this is in the middle of the map. There's a giant castle in the middle of the map here, and then during this fight for supremacy, these war marks open up around the castle every 8 hours, and they're open for about 30 minutes, and you can occupy them. They give you stats based on which mark you're actually going for. There is I think there's 2 cav, 2 infantry, 2 range, and 2 mage, what's it called? Warfare marks around the middle there, and you can occupy as many as you want if you can actually hold them. Again, all the guilds will be going after these, and again, this is all 100% free to play, because again, when you're holding these ones in this event, no wounded, no deads or anything like that. You do get the report telling you what would have happened if for whatever reason this wasn't this event, like if it was the non-free to play event part. But again, you can hold these nodes for indefinite amount of times, because since you are getting 0 wounded, you don't lose any troops no matter how many people hit you, as long as you win the battle. So that's the most important part about this event, is you're trying to win the battle. And we'll kind of go over that because there's a bunch of different stuff. You can see we have one of the marks currently. At this point, we didn't really know what was going on, so we didn't have very many people online. This was kind of later at night when it started, so it was a bad time zone for our guild specifically, so I only had like 3 or 4 people on, but we were holding quite well just because obviously my march is quite strong at this point, so I can actually hold against most solo attacks. Only if a big guild came in and did a time attack. We did go over a video on time attacks before. It's basically like a giant gangbang where you all send your troops and you all try to get your troops there at the same time, because they all join in the same battle. And again, if you're a couple seconds late, you can still reinforce, but it's much better if they all get there at the same time. And you can see some of these are just solo attacks, so completely wiping them out, because again, we have a couple people reinforcing as well. So you won't get to see the battle of all of them, because you can only see one battle going on at a time, but it will still give you the report here. So you can see this guy only sent like 30k troops, not too bad or anything like that. But there's another guild coming in that's going to be doing a time attack. You can see there's so many people sending solo attacks at you. So it does get kind of confusing at a time, but you can kind of see which guild is doing the time attack and which is not. So you got to get ready for those ones, because again, for this battle, you can only have so many people reinforcing one of these nodes at a certain time. So let's say my capacity is, let's say, 300k. So if they send 600k troops at me, we are in big trouble, especially if they time it. If they don't time it well and they send 600k troops and they get there at the wrong times, we can completely wipe out one march at a time. But if they all hit you at the same time, then you got to fight 600k troops. And if you only have a capacity of 300k troops, it's not really that easy. When their 600k troops get there, a lot of times they won't be able to, same thing, their capacity won't be 600k, so some of their marches will have to go home. But in that one battle, you can have them, and then you can send reinforcements. So let's say they're sending 600k troops. I can only hold 300k troops in the Wonder. I could get an additional 300k troops sent to me for that battle. As long as they get there at the right time and reinforce the battle, they will join in the battle, so I could have 600k troops. After that battle is over and we win, 300k troops will have to walk home because I can only hold 300k at a time. But in a certain battle like this, you can actually send reinforcements and join the actual battle, even though your capacity is under that 600k. So right now, people who are defending have kind of a disadvantage, but not really, because you can still reinforce that node at the same time. But you have to be very organized with your guild. Again, we are not organized. We don't have very many people on. This was the first battle we've tried, which is really good that they did this, because when the actual Wonder battle happens, when the main castle in the middle open up, and you actually get all these nodes showing up and all that, and obviously you'll be taking reds and stuff. On this situation, again, we're not taking any. That's why our troop count is not going down at all after all these battles, even though it says losses and wounded. It is a free-to-play event, so you don't lose anything. So it's pretty awesome. I had so much fun. I actually have probably like 40 more minutes of these clips of us battling, and some really big reports where we actually, again, get in those situations where it's like 600k versus 300k and stuff like that, and you get to see all that. I'll do that in a separate video. This one was just more of a introduction, kind of showing what's going on, but those ones, I have a bunch of them, and I'll kind of cut it down into one video so you can see some of the bigger battles that are going on. And it's pretty exciting, especially when you're defending and there's like 3 different guilds coming at you and all these timed attacks coming in. You're like, oh my god, because imagine this was, you're losing troops, so you'd be losing troops fast and you'd have to like pull out and then come back in and try it again, or trying to get your reinforcements to arrive at the right time, because if there's 3 different guilds coming in there, you can't time all the defensive battles all at the same time. You can only time your guys reinforcing at once, because as soon as one battle is over, they will walk home, and then you'll be back down to, let's say you were up to 600k, you'll be back down to 300k once that battle is gone. And if another time attack comes in, you'll be 300k versus 600k sort of thing, and we'll show that in another one. You can see people are reinforcing, so mid-battle we're actually getting more troops than what we started with, so that's actually a awesome mechanic I find about this game. So let's take a look at some of these reports. That was a solo attack, that was another solo attack. Again, we have about 177k troops right now. I think like 100k of those are mine though, so we only had 2 other people in there, I'm pretty sure. So you can see the stats. Again, you can see the stats of every single person who hits you, including the people who are reinforcing, because each one of you have your own stats for your own troops. So it's not like normal, like Lords, where there's the rally leader whose stats you use all for all your reinforcements. You still use your own stats when you join a battle. So even in a rally, you're still using your same stats, I believe, when you hit somebody as well. But again, time attacks are just way better in this game. And again, there's only a minute 30 march time to any of these nodes from anywhere on the map, so you don't need to use speed ups or anything like that. And that's how you time your march. You get everybody in chat and you say ready, go, and you all send your marches all at the same time, and you all get there hopefully at the same time. Because again, if you don't get there at the same time and you go one at a time, you're basically just hitting like a mower, and you get mowed down one at a time. So again, in this first round, people were not timing it properly. Most of the guilds didn't really know what was going on, because this is the first time that was going on, so we were able to hold this quite a long time, and until I think a big guild came and knocked us out, because again, we only had like 170k, so if they're sending 400 or 500k, we're pretty much out of luck at that point. But Actually, there was one situation. I think we had like 270k, and we beat someone with like 640k. Because again, they didn't time it properly. So the battle report came back with us beating a 600k thing with 200k, and I'll show that in another video. But in this situation, obviously, it didn't happen. So, anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this clip today. I will have some more videos coming out. Again, if you haven't joined my guild in the game, my guild is Ducks_Hunters. So that's our guild. You can see this was the big battle in this one. They had sent 220k. We only had 134k, but they didn't time it properly, and we completely wiped out their 200 plus march. And again, if this wasn't a free-to-play event, they would have lost a lot of troops from that, a lot of Red Dead. So yeah, again, my guild is Ducks_Hunters, tag DHD. We are in Kingdom 1548 if you want to come join us. We do have a couple spots left. I will have the link for the game in the description down below and as the top comment. Also, I have a coupon code for in-game stuff when you get into the game. It's DuckHunter. I will have that also in the comments down below. Come check out the game. It's a ton of fun, like a ton of fun. And there's a bunch of free-to-play events that if you don't want to spend too much, you can. If you want to spend, that's totally fine. Obviously, I'm in the higher spender category for this game, but it obviously just makes it more fun. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.